This is amazing. You're a boomer. You're a 60-year-old boomer, and we've spent maybe 3 minutes on you saying he's a really monster. He incinerated people. And I'm sitting here saying it's not that serious. It's not that deep. And
not that
what
serious.
I'm getting at.
Not that serious.
Do you want to say more about?
Well,
he's a monster.
You're not a kid yourself anymore. You're not a teenager.
I know.
Right?
You're
you're nearly 30. To be clear,
yeah,
okay? You're a fully formed adult who has a brain, right? And
wait, how old is Nick Fuentes? I thought he was like 22. He's 28? 27? Bro, what? He's 27 and he talks like that? Bro, he's about to be 30. The reason why I thought that was because he still lives in his mom and dad's basement. And also, he's doing like 6-7 memes and unironically. So for me, and he's a virgin. Like he is openly still very much a virgin and like hates women and stuff like that. You're supposed to kind of grow out of at least some of this stuff by accident. Lies he had sex with Destiny. Okay, but like a woman virgin, a virgin for having sex with women.
At some stage, that brain is taking you off these rabbit warrens.
Is this an interview or is this a lecture? Can I respond to what you're saying?
I want you to explain why you think it's fine to say how cool Hitler is and to dismiss.
Okay, yeah, we got it. He loves Hitler, okay?
Any sense of love for our own civilization? I'll tell you about it. We have been browbeaten as a people, as Americans, as Westerners, for our entire lives. And do you know what this has done? It has taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own civilization. We have been made the villain in our own story. We have been made because, well, let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we have thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian, because they've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives,
wait,
no,
Nick
it's true, and that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me mom and me dad. That's the crock of shit.
No, listen. What you just said is a crock of shit. And you know
true.
it.
It's called the open society.
In your gut, you know it is. You weaponize this stuff.
You know.
You weaponize this stuff for money, but you know when you say something like what you just said.
I'm banned from banking. I'm banned from banking and credit card.
Okay, that's the other thing that he also presents as a point of like honesty for himself. And I saw a Nick Fuentes interview that he did, and it turns out the reason why they actually quote unquote debanked him was not because of the anti-Semitism or whatever. The brief moment where they actually banned his froze his bank accounts was because of January 6th. So he was one of the people at January 6th, if you guys don't remember. And right before he went to January 6th, went to January 6th and was like seen as one of the leaders and bussing people in and whatever. So did Charlie Kirk, for the record. He got $250,000 in a crypto donation. Okay. And it was from a foreign account. It was from the wallet of a foreigner. And because he got this $250,000 crypto donation, or was it $500,000? Was it? I thought it was $250,000. And then he went to January 6th. The FBI investigated him. It was $500K. Okay. Yeah. And because he was doing this at January 6th, after he had gotten $500,000 of foreign donation, or I think it's $250,000. I don't know why people are saying $500,000. They understandably investigated it. And in the process of investigation, they froze his assets. And the story that Nick Fuentes tells, I mean, he's clearly, a free person. So, but the story he tells is that it was a French hacker, which, by the way, what does Candace Owens know? Because the French are at it again. It was a French hacker who had stolen a bunch of cryptocurrency from people and actually sent it to Nick Fuentes and numerous other people who this guy thought were defending the white race. Okay? And then the French hacker committed afterwards. So that is the reason why his bank accounts were actually frozen, not because of like Israel or something. The reason why his bank accounts were frozen is because the FBI investigated his involvement and potential ties to foreign donors in inciting January 6th, which is what he did. All right, let's.
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah,
I do it for money.
and by the way,
how much money you make? Your company's worth $100 million. Your company's worth $100 million. I was banned from Bank of America.
And you shouldn't
I'm
have
banned
been.
from processing credit cards.
And you shouldn't have been.
But I am. So don't tell me I'm doing it for money.
Well, ask me my opinion about that. I'll tell you, you shouldn't have been. Right? I don't agree with that. What happened to you?
Then don't say I'm doing it for money, because you know that full well, and you say it's a
How
grift.
much money? How much
if I
money
wanted
are
to be
you?
a grifter, I'd be like you,
How
and
much
I would
money
go
are-
and say,
How much money are you making?
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people.
Okay, Cap, that's Candace Owens. Okay, put some respect on her name. That's actually the one true anti-Semite. Okay, that's Cap.
Agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that. You guys
I'm not
overplayed your
done
hand.
hearing about that.
Okay, well, you know, your generation's on the way out, and Generation Z is coming up, and we're finished with that. We're ready to take our country back.
I've got three
we're
sons.
not listening
I've
to
got
crying
three
minorities
sons.
anymore.
I've got 3 sons, and they don't share your views about
Yeah, well.
slavery and about the Holocaust. They can have decency and compassion and humanity about some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more.
Sound like girls.
They can do that, and they can also have concerned views about issues like immigration and other issues. The two things are not mutually incompatible. You can have different views about different things. It's your lack of humanity and compassion for people about things like the Holocaust, about slavery. It's that people find so contemptible. And I don't understand why you need to do that. Is it, again, I just ask you, is your motivation financial? Is your motivation for fun? What is the motivation to saying these outlandish things, which you don't need to say, and which I suspect, I don't know, I suspect a lot of it is performative. So what is the motivation?
I'm an iconoclast. The Holocaust is not my religion, and it is treated like a religion. It is treated like a religion with dogma, with blasphemy laws, and that secular religion says, and you say that's a crock of shit. It's intentional. It's called The Open Society by Karl Popper. It's by these architects of the liberal order after World War II. They got together and they said, how can we make sure that Hitler never happens? How can we make sure that totalitarianism never happens again? And they came up with the consensus, which is that we need to take down nations, religions, fathers, the authoritarian personality. We need to be empathetic and altruistic. We need to be diverse and pluralistic.
This is just, again, the maximalist position of the right, by the way. So remember, if you're wondering how Nick Fuentes has risen to such prominence, what he's saying is the exact same thing that Piers Morgan and many other right-wingers say all the time, when they're like, oh, this is suicidal empathy. Okay? This is just more of that way of thinking. He's saying, oh, you're demonstrating suicidal empathy. This open society is actually destroying the Western world, destroying Western civilization.
And that experiment isn't working. And I'll tell you the truth right now, and you can laugh at this, you can scoff at.
Except he's using words like iconoclast. And I think there is a market that doesn't want that and wants whatever the Candace Owens is cooking up.
That's true.
Guys get to a certain age and they're like, you know what? Women suck. Like, they're talking too much. They're not hot anymore. Like, you're fat, you're chubby, you're not as hot as you think you are. You talk too much, you're a.
So we'll obviously get to the brazen
Preach.
misogyny part of that a little later, but I'm just curious. On the one hand, there's this terrible genocide going on of white people. On the other hand, you want people effectively to stop going near women because they all turn out to be so ghastly, so they shouldn't presumably procreate. So how does that work? I mean, aren't you, with your rhetoric, actively encouraging men not to associate with these ghastly women, therefore not have any more children? Therefore, you are contributing, Nick Fuentes, to the diminishing white population. I'm confused.
I tell my followers to get married all the time. I tell them that it's best for everybody to get married. And I think that's the only way that you can have sex. I think that's the only licit way as a Catholic, as you know, to have sex is within marriage.
Why don't you get married?
I'll get married later. It's been difficult for me because people are shooting at me at my house. I don't know that I don't want to have kids and a wife. You know, my wife would be screaming about that. Me, you know, I have to be able to take risks and be able to say these things.
Yeah, it's because he likes penis. No disrespect. Obviously, it has nothing to do with his morally repugnant worldview. He just happens to also be gay.
It's difficult to bring a family into a life that's like that. But for my
he was taking his first steps to turn the TV off.
Followers, I tell them to get married. But what's happening with women?
You literally just told your followers. Well, hang on. In that clip, you literally told followers, women, they get old, they get fat, they get ugly, they get very annoying. So where's the incentive to get married to women? There isn't one. You're actively telling them the opposite.
You're extrapolating a lot.
Just quoting you back yourself again.
No, but you're extrapolating and saying, well, you say women are annoying, so therefore, what's the incentive? We have to do it in spite of the fact that they are annoying. We have to do it in spite of the fact that they talk too much. We can get them to lose weight. We can put them on peptides. We can get them to the promised land, but it's going to be
Do you think this view of women may be why none of them want to go near you?
Oh, you should see my DMs. It is quite the opposite. They're called the Groy bets, and I'm actually batting them away. Granted, not all of them are attractive. Some of them are attractive.
Are you actually? Look, just to clear up one of the many theories about you, I've no idea what the answer is, and you haven't got to answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted.
There's literally I've seen it on the timeline. There's a black girl on TikTok. There's a huge Nick Fuentes fan and constantly talks about how much I suck. He's not even lying. There are definitely women on TikTok that love Nick Fuentes. It's insane.
To women?
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
Okay.
So there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
I do not. No, absolutely not.
They should stay at home?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
See, basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm the boomer. I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women.
I am.
All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy. Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid. Wow.
That's the thing, though. You boomers, it's always
you're an expert in women,
free love.
given you've never got laid?
Yeah. So this is also a generational divide. Okay. There are a lot of Gen Z men that will hear Nick Fuentes' response here and will actually agree with him. I do think that the gender wars have taken root in especially younger generations. And there are a lot of dudes who have just completely checked out of dating or trying to attract women at all. And they actually wear it on their sleeves. Like the incel stuff, the incel is actually completely out of control. So when he says like, no, of course I've never had sex with a woman, gross. Like there are a lot of incels out there in the Nick Fuentes audience that actually see that as a mark of pride.
Yeah, we are going back to the Stone Age. You're absolutely right. This, you're talking about empathy and your kids are empathetic and they would never laugh at a joke about the Holocaust and you're a misogynist. You're a simp yourself. You're totally henpecked. That's the problem. So we are going back to the way
another clip of yours about
you're a simp. You're too hungry for pussy. You're henpecked.
Women.
A lot of women want to be, and when I say, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
You think women want to be
that's what the studies show, Piers. That is what these statistics say.
But that's what you believe,
They have fantasies. They have fantasies about it. I don't think that they want to actually get raped. But there is a study out there. Get ready for this. It says 62% of women have rape fantasies. And if you read anything that they're reading, if you watched what they're watching, what do you think 50 Shades of Grey is about? What do you think Twilight is about? I mean, that's just true.
You think women want to have the shit beaten out of them, as you said?
Yeah, and it's very disturbing, but it's true.
Do you think your views on women might change if you actually ever had a relationship with one or had sex and actually had a proper relationship?
Yeah, I don't know why he's talking about what women want. Not only, I mean, he's literally a gay virgin. Why the would he know about what women want? This is the other thing that really pisses me off about this is there are so many rudderless men out there, young boys, who tune into this frequency. And in many instances, their starting point, like their initial vulnerability, stems from the confusing aspects of interpersonal communication with the opposite gender. Okay? Where they just get like super confused, or they're super worried. They have like a sequence of failures, and they're very vulnerable, so they start looking at like the manosphere for answers. And I think we all know how stupid those answers are. This is the maximum version of that when you're completely black-pilled. Maybe you start looks maxing, okay? And then obviously you don't fix the personality flaws that you have, and you don't fix the confidence issues that you have. You have a sense of entitlement over women that, like, you know, you're a good guy. Why won't they f me? I'm a good guy. Why won't they know? Why don't they give me the respect I deserve? And then after a sequence of understandable failures, because if you're looking for answers from the looks maxing community, you are going to fail. If you think that like those serial misogyny podcasts are going to teach you anything about how to talk to women, how to be around women, how to attract women, you're wrong. Then you go down an even darker path, and you become black-pilled, and then you completely tap out of the dating marketplace, and then you start wearing it like a badge of honor.
I mean, people say the reason you're so angry about women is you're basically an incel.
Well, I'm not angry about it.
You sound very angry. You sound very, very angry about women.
I'm passionate. It's an issue.
You're
I'm
not passionate.
about.
You're sounding very bitter about women, as if women have done a terrible disservice to you. But when you don't have relationships, you don't have sex, when are they doing these terrible things to you that's made you so hateful towards women? I'm really curious.
Was that? I don't think that was a hateful clip. I think I was laughing. I said they want men to beat the shit out of them, and that's just true. I mean, when you look at the state of modern women, all they do is lay in their bed, doom scroll. They're chilling out. They're getting a little fat. It is what it is. I don't know what the average weight is, but they're getting a little heavy. And any guy that is playing the field these days will tell you that. I mean, and I know a lot of the Chads. I am an incel. I'm friends with a lot of Chads like Bradley Martin, Clavicular. They agree with me. You know, there's sort of like this alliance between the guys that don't have sex and the guys that get the most sex. We know what women are about. It's the guys in the middle. Guys like you in the middle. It's the beta male orbiters that say, she's amazing, you're a misogynistic pig. Because
oh God, this is so cringe, dude. Jesus Christ. I don't understand it, genuinely. Oh my Lord, dude. I'll be honest, I do think that stuff right there, this kind of statement is actually going to be very off-putting to normies, right? But for the terminally online, and there's an increasingly larger group of the terminally online, they love that shit.
I don't know what that is. I guess.
Well, come on. Let me explain to you what I think it is. I think when a 27-year-old guy who's never got laid, never had a meaningful relationship with a woman, says that women shouldn't be allowed to vote, they should stay at home, that all they do is fantasize about being beaten up, that's what they want, that they're annoying, that they get fat, that they get ugly. That's a misogynist. Now, you may not understand it because your knowledge of women is so incredibly tiny, but actually you are the embodiment of a misogynist. It couldn't be clearer. And if I was in a way, you have the deep-rooted misogyny of some of the actual boomers I know. Yet here you are, 27 years old. And most of the current studies show that a lot of men are really disenfranchised from society, no longer have physical relationships with women if they've ever had them.
I mean, he openly admitted to loving Adolf Hitler. I don't think he cares about being called a misogynist.
Never associate with women and build up instinctively misogynist views about women. And I fear you're in that position. You're just a bit of a lonely guy who wants to get laid and can't for whatever reason. And it's made you bitter about women. And I don't know where that's come from, but it's fascinating.
No, see, here's the thing. First of all, you're very caught up in the labels. It's always, you're a racist, you're a misogynist.
You said you were a racist.
These words mean nothing to me. Oh, hang
you
on.
gave
Whoa,
yourself,
can I respond?
You gave yourself the label.
What is this?
You said, I am a racist. I didn't give you the label. Okay. You said, Nick Fuentes, I am a racist.
Calm down. Calm down.
Did you or didn't you?
It's okay.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
here's
I didn't give you the label. You did.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're trying to infer something that didn't happen. You said, I gave you the label of being a racist. No, you did. You said, I'm a racist. Okay. You gave yourself the label.
You're going to have to tone it down a little, all right? You're going to have to bring it down a notch and relax. This is just an interview, okay? Please calm down. All I said is you're hung up. I didn't say you gave me that. Maybe I did.
You did.
But here's what I mean. What I mean is you're just hung up on proving you're a misogynist. Okay, you're a racist. Okay, you denied the Holocaust. And I'm not about the labels,
man. You didn't deny the Holocaust.
Past that.
As I said to you, look, Nick, as I said to you, I just wanted to go over the stuff that everyone uses out there about you and get you to respond. And we are getting, I think, a long way in this interview. Right?
Okay.
You didn't deny the Holocaust. You accepted there's been a Holocaust of at least 6 million Jews.
I'm a maximalist. I'm a Holocaust.
That is significant.
I think it's more.
You did admit you're a racist, and you have spelled out a thought process about women, which is the purest definition of misogyny that I've ever seen. And you've said you're not gay. So we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Well, look, and I own the labels, okay? But I just don't care that much about them.
That's fine.
I feel like the whole...
I'm not saying
this is like a weird...
I'm not saying you have to care. Nick, you don't have to care about any of it. I promise you. Right? That's not why I got you on the show. I wanted to give you a fair crack, which I think I have. We've gone over a lot of stuff. We've got a bit more to go on. I genuinely don't think I've ambushed you with anything you couldn't have been expecting.
No.
I don't think I've been overtly hostile. In fact, when you've asked me to calm down, I've calmed down. I don't want to have a hostile, angry, shouty match with you. I simply want you to spell out exactly what you've meant about all these things, and people can then be the judge of them. So let's take another break, and we'll...
Okay, we're done here. Piers did cook Nick with this and Clandis. I think the momentum has stopped. I mean, we'll see. He is a cockroach, okay? You have to remember, he's been deplatformed everywhere, and all it took was for Twitter to offer him a platform once again for him to like revitalize his career. That and also the entire Western world turning on Israel after years and years of unlimited propaganda that was pro-Israel, where he became where he was seen as like an earnest champion in the anti-Israel cause. Anyway, yes, it's time for dispatch again. You guys are so goddamn annoying. Oh my Lord, you were being so annoying.